Hi everyone, I'm Satya. Welcome to Restoration in Progress, a podcast and a talk dialogue series where we will be looking at how different beings are accessing restoration in their own lives through different mediums of art, music, regenerative gardening, weddings, even. So, we all have generations of history behind us, ancestors, families that have passed on genetics, habits, and many behaviors to us, and the weight of which actually permeates through to all our choices and decisions that we make on day basis. So, what becomes really critical is to be able to view every day as a learning opportunity, to be able to inquire about just these different parts of ourselves, see if we can find space to acknowledge, see, process, and reconcile with the things that we've been carrying for so long. The only way for us to find out what is it that lies within us is to be able to continuously expand and look out for the whole world of possibilities that exists and comes alive for us. In the last few years, what I've experienced is the honor and the company of some very beautiful beings who've, in their own ways, challenged how life must be led. And in many situations of chaos and crisis, have continued to choose peace. And in this harmony lies their wisdom. And the idea of restoration and progress is to be able to look at our life as a journey which is in progress and not as an ultimate destination, which lies true for all kinds of healing, restoration as well. And to be able to say that it's only happening if it's in progress. So welcome to the first episode of Restoration in Progress. Today we're going to be talking with one of my favorite people who I also happened to marry a couple of months ago. So here is Vishwas.
Hi everyone, my name is Vishwas, and I work a corporate job with a certain company, and I'm also a musician and an adventurer and a philosopher and a bunch of things. So mostly a man in search of the truth, but for the longest time I did not know that would mean that I would have a wife named Satya. So for the most part of my life, I mean, not for the most part, but at least in the last decade, I've lived mostly by myself. And all the houses I've lived in, I've had an open house where everybody could come in whenever they wanted, and people used to stay for weeks together. Uh, so when I was thinking about the wedding, I was thinking of it as a similar experience, except the the house is in the Himalayas at almost at 2,000 meters above sea level, with no access to anything that you have access to in the city, which means a lot of things have to be figured out by yourself. And I think that was the only reason why I was a little apprehensive of how it was going to go. But we really had nothing to worry about except for a few things being dirty in the house. but but everybody really got together and took care of things. So it was a very beautiful experience. Something I'd never imagined was possible at this scale, where you have 30-35 people staying in the same house and doing everything together without having anything assigned to anybody, or just without having any rules really.
There were some rules. So, when we started thinking about what all goes into the wedding, something that we thought we could harness was just the individuality and the potential of each person who was a part of our family, who was coming to this space. And we realized that actually we had friends with extremely talented people. And we had amongst us videographers, photographers, artists, dancers, musicians, and people who worked in decor design. So as soon as everybody started coming in, what we saw was they started to identify what they connect with and start to gravitate towards that, and this enabled choice, because the spectrum of the possibilities of what all you could do was just so much. And what we then discovered was a series of sessions and spaces that happened through the 3 days, and it was, of course, quite planned in a way that we knew what the intention was. And through the course of the last 8 months of planning this event, we found different people who were the exact right fit for it. So on the first day, we had an intention setting space where everyone got together and learnt about each other, came together. It was essentially a group of 30 people who knew us, Vishwas and me. Uh, and then we had essentially a roast, which was an attempt at just completely surrendering and allowing our ego to come to the forefront, and just to be able to see the parts of ourselves which we usually may not or may just dismiss in a different moment. And the next day we had a clay session by our sculptor friend Anubha. And in that, the experience was to be able to let go of some of the things that may be holding us back or blocking us, and to be able to open ourselves to the realm of possibilities. After which we had a space where everyone gave us their blessings. We had a toast. And the third day, we had a commitment ceremony, which essentially was a way of everyone energetically creating a field of protection around us, which everyone was a part of themselves. And Vishwas and I exchanging just some commitments to each other, things that we both want to prioritize for ourselves in the presence of everyone we loved. And it ended with just a really beautiful, sort of a harmonious ceremony where everyone came together and wrote the hopes and aspirations they had for us, which was so beautiful to watch, because the container essentially was that.
So getting married, just like meeting Satya, was a very, very overwhelming experience. And initially, we just knew what we did not want, and that is all the rituals that we did not understand, which did not make sense to us or we did not relate to. Which means we had to find our own rituals because we had none. And since it was a crowdsourced, community sourced wedding, we also had a lot of people identified who had also come forward to hold certain spaces and offer certain experiences to everybody at the wedding, and offer certain skills and just presence. And a lot of them did not turn up for the wedding. And that was very close to the wedding when we got to know that a bunch of them were not attending because of COVID and other many reasons. And this meant that very close to the wedding, we had very less idea about what was going to happen. And that left a lot of doubt and a lot of openness, and I think both helped in their own ways. Because everybody who came in, we had almost no expectations, but also were curious about how it was going to go. And I think everybody brought their best selves, and we are very, very grateful for each and every person who was there. I think the entire experience throughout the 3 days was extremely overwhelming. There was a lot of love, a lot of music, a lot of sharing, a lot of very nice food, and most of it was managed by the people who were attending the wedding. Like, it was entirely planned by, executed by the people at the wedding. So except for the food part, where the host family who we lived with in Himachal, they helped us with.
Yeah, so I think growing up, I saw weddings, wedding gifts as, just an envelope that people would give to the bride and the groom as they go up on the stage to greet them or congratulate them, or there would be like a table full of boxes, and I would wonder what people do with so many things. And growing older, I realized that the greatest gift that people can give us at any time is their time and their presence. And the experience of the wedding was so special and so beautiful because of the time and presence that we were gifted in deep generosity by so many people in so many ways.
So yeah, to me, the belief that something like this is possible. Uh, I've always believed that uh, it takes a community to raise a family or to raise anybody for that matter. So to me, it was the validation that we have built this community around us and it's here and it's mostly working. So that was a wonderful acknowledgement of that fact.
And it was an experience which truly um, made me feel like I have a family now, and a really beautiful one at that. Um, and it honestly feels really, really wonderful.
कुछ रस्मों रिवाजों और धागों को छोड़ कुछ हाथों साथों मिजाजों को छूना बसाने को छोटी सी दुनिया ये अपनी नई रिवायतों की शुरुआत करना न अग्नि के फेरे न झूठे वो घेरे न सदियों से चलती वो रस्में हुई थी शामिल थे कुछ दोस्त वो सिर्फ फिरे थे कोई खुल के रोया कोई हंस रहा था कोई कहीं खुद में ही खोया हुआ था एक घर का जो सपना देखा था हमने होने से उनके वो पूरा हुआ था नहीं जानते थे एक दूजे को सब वो मगर जानते थे वो हाथों का छूना वो शब्दों का बहना या किस्सों का कहना फिर लगा ऐसे कुछ जख्म सिल चले थे बंधन में ऐसे बंध हम गए थे कि खोने में खुद को पा हम चले थे तस्वीरें ये ही कहानी कहेंगी कुछ कह कहे कुछ तुमको आंसू दिखेंगे दिखेंगे वो किस्से जो जादू भरे थे अकेले से जब हम एक दूजे के हुए थे अकेले से जब हम एक दूजे के हुए थे